Welcome to the realm of shadows and whispers, where nightmares come to life. I am your guide through this chilling abyss, and I invite you to step into the darkness with me. But beware, for what you're about to hear is not for the faint of heart. It is not imaginary stories, they are true ones. Now, close your eyes and let the story consume you. In the quaint German town of Klingenberg, Maine, nestled amid rolling hills and lush vineyards, a dark and harrowing tale unfolded in the 1970s. It was a story that would grip the nation, confound medical experts, and shake the foundations of faith for those involved. This was the exorcism of Anneliese Michel, a young woman whose suffering would become one of the most controversial cases in the history of exorcisms. Anneliese Michel was born on September 21, 1952, into a deeply devout Catholic family. She grew up in a picturesque Bavarian village, attending church regularly and leading a life of piety. But as she entered her teenage years, something changed. Anneliese began experiencing mysterious seizures and blackouts. She was diagnosed with epilepsy, a condition that would soon pale in comparison to what was to come. As the years passed, Anneliese's condition deteriorated. She began displaying alarming behavior, speaking in strange languages, contorting her body in unnatural ways, and exhibiting immense strength that seemed beyond the capabilities of a frail young woman. Her family, desperate for answers, consulted medical professionals, but no conventional treatment seemed to alleviate her suffering. Anneliese's parents, Joseph and Anna, turned to their faith for guidance. They believed that their daughter was possessed by demons and sought help from the Catholic Church. The local priest, Father Ernst Alt, was initially skeptical but was convinced after witnessing her bizarre and terrifying behavior firsthand. He petitioned the bishop for permission to perform an exorcism. Between 1975 and 1976, Anneliese underwent a series of exorcisms. These sessions were conducted by Father Arnold Renz and Pastor Ernst Alt with the approval of the Catholic Church. They were not ordinary exorcisms. They were grueling, lasting for hours on end, sometimes spanning several sessions in a single day. Anneliese's cries of torment and aversion to sacred objects sent chills through those who witnessed the proceedings. During the exorcisms, Anneliese made disturbing claims. She spoke of multiple demons inhabiting her body, including Judas Iscariot, Hitler, Nero, and Lucifer himself. She claimed that these malevolent entities were tormenting her as punishment for her sins and the sins of the world. The exorcists persevered, believing that her suffering was a form of purification. Anneliese's already frail body weakened further due to the grueling exorcisms and self-imposed fasting, which she believed would atone for her perceived sins. On July 1, 1976, she tragically passed away in her family's home at the age of 23. The cause of death was determined to be malnutrition and dehydration. The death of Anneliese Michel sent shockwaves through the community and led to legal repercussions. Her parents and the priests who performed the exorcisms were charged with negligent homicide. The ensuing trial would become a media sensation and a battleground between science and faith. In the end, Anneliese's story remains shrouded in controversy. Some view it as a tragic case of untreated mental illness, while others continue to believe in the reality of her possession. Her story has left an indelible mark on the world, inspiring books, documentaries, and even the Hollywood movie The Exorcism of Emily Rose. It is a story that continues to challenge our understanding of faith, mental illness, and the supernatural. It was a quiet autumn evening in the sleepy town of Millville. The sun had set, casting long shadows across the narrow streets lined with quaint houses. In one of these houses, a woman named Sarah sat in her cozy living room, engrossed in a book. The soft crackling of the fireplace and the distant hum of crickets were the only sounds that punctuated the stillness of the night. As Sarah delved deeper into the pages of her novel, an abrupt knock on her front door sent a shiver down her spine. It was an odd time for visitors, well past 8 o'clock. She glanced. Uneasy but curious, Sarah placed her book on the coffee table and made her way to the front door. She hesitated for a moment before opening it, her hand resting on the doorknob. The porch light bathed the front steps in a soft amber glow. Standing on her doorstep were 2 children, a boy and a girl. They appeared to be around 10 years old, dressed in outdated clothing that seemed oddly out of place in the modern world. The boy wore an old-fashioned cap, while the girl had on a pinafore dress. Their eyes, however, were what sent a chill down Sarah's spine. They were entirely black, devoid of any whites or irises. Sarah couldn't suppress a gasp as she stared at these children with the unnerving eyes. "Can we come in?" the boy asked softly, his voice almost a whisper. Sarah's heart raced as she struggled to find her voice. "Why are you here? Where are your parents?" she managed to stammer. "We're lost, and we need to use your phone," the girl replied in the same eerie, hushed tone. "May we come in?" Her maternal instincts told her to help them, but a primal fear rooted her to the spot. The children seemed harmless, yet something about them was deeply unsettling. Her mind raced, recalling the stories she had heard of the black-eyed children, strange, paranormal entities that often appeared at people's homes, seeking entry. Sarah took a step back, still holding onto the door. "I'm sorry, but I can't let you in." "I'll call the police for you," she said, hoping her voice didn't betray her fear. The children's expressions remained eerily calm, almost expectant. "We must come inside," the boy insisted, his black eyes unblinking. "It won't take long." With growing dread, Sarah noticed a sense of urgency in their demeanor. She quickly slammed the door shut, locking it with trembling hands. As she picked up the phone to dial 911, a sudden silence enveloped her home. The oppressive stillness was broken only by the faint tapping of the children's knuckles on the door, their voices now imploring. "Please, let us in." Sarah knew she couldn't relent, no matter how desperate they sounded. She relayed the situation to the dispatcher and was advised to stay on the line while they sent a police officer to her address. Minutes felt like hours as she clutched the phone tightly, listening to the children's soft entreaties growing fainter. Finally, the distant wail of sirens grew closer, and the tapping ceased abruptly. When the police arrived, they found no trace of the eerie children with the black eyes. The officers assured Sarah that she had done the right thing by not letting them in, explaining that these entities were often linked to strange disappearances and unsettling encounters. That night, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling of dread that had settled over her home. As she glanced out the window at the moonlit street, she couldn't help but wonder what might have happened if she had allowed the black-eyed children to enter. The encounter left her with a haunting question that would never truly be answered. What did those enigmatic children want, and what would have happened if she had granted them entry into her home?
I'm an icon, man. I'm a girl about a 10. I should fuck her in the bed.